Hello to all of our YouTube subscribers and friends. We're so glad you joined us today, and when you see this week's feature car, we know you will be too. In 1939, the country was just finally starting to emerge from a decade-long economic depression. At Ford Motor Company, this year a new line of cars was introduced. It wasn't long before customizers saw the potential in modifying the Coupe, which had a completely different roofline than its Ford counterpart. Done right, these coupes are absolutely breathtaking, and our feature car is no exception. The story of the legacy of its creator is fascinating, as we hear from his wife how important the car is in the history of Southern California car culture. The people he knew and the entire story is one you're sure to enjoy. So make yourself comfortable and gaze in amazement at all the authentic memorabilia that current owner Lisa Lodi has in her vast collection. She's a true enthusiast and enjoys sharing the car with people at shows and on the street. Now, let's go for a ride.
Hi, my name is Lisa Lodi Bartoni, and I have a 1939 Mercury, definitely custom, chopped, fender skirts, all the good stuff, white walls. We acquired the car, my husband Bart Bartoni and I acquired the car probably about 10 to 12 years ago in Modesto, California. That's where we are from. And sadly, he passed away in 2019, but he made sure that in his will that I got the car because he knew I loved it, drove it. It's not an everyday driver, but I drive it probably 2 or 3 times a week. Real cool car. Some things about the car, it's got a 350 Chevy under the hood. It's won numerous awards. It got top 3 customs at the West Coast Customs in Santa Maria. Just after Bart passed, I won the John DiAgostino Crystal Award, which really was just an award that I cherish and honor in memory of Bart, because, you know, again, this was one of his cars, numerous cars, but he really loved the customs. And so we won the George Barris Award, which obviously, for everybody knows George Barris, that was a real honor. And so he signed the plaque thing that he had given us at the American Graffiti car show in Modesto. And so that was another prestigious award that we have won with the 39 Merc. So my husband Bart was quite a bit older than I was, and he grew up and went to school with Gene Winfield. Gene was probably about 3 years older than Bart, and Gene will be 95 in June. Bart was such a phenomenal artist, and he would draw cars, and he and Gene kind of worked hand in hand. 1964, not sure if that was the first one or what, but it was Gene and Bart put that car show on in Modesto. So there's a lot of rich history with Gene. Gene would always stay at our house when he would come down. Now he's in Mojave, but he would always stay at our house in Modesto when he was in town. And again, Gene pretty much grew up there his whole life. He had his shop there. And so Bart and Gene were just very, very, very close friends, and just could talk cars for hours and hours upon hours, and both love the customs. So the jacket was just a really, I don't even remember where he got the jacket initially, but I remember every time he would go to SEMA or Hot August Nights or any of the, the big ones, he would take, in Blackie Jijian's show in Fresno, he would take his jacket with him and would have people sign it. So he has Daryl Starbird, he's got Gene Winfield, of course, he's got John D'Agostino, Zoki, George Barris, Kindig. I'm trying to think of all the other ones. And then the real cool one was Chip Foose. When he was at SEMA, I want to say it was either 2016 or 17, he had brought his 1938 Alfa Romeo to that. It was one of the showcase cars in SEMA that year, and so Chip was there, and so he loved the car, and he drew it on the front, signed his name, and drew the Alfa Romeo on the front of the jacket. So the American Graffiti car show that's in Modesto every year, they as many would know, George Lucas was born and raised in Modesto. He really saw the people like Bart and Gene and people like that, and really loved the old car scene because they would cruise 10th Street back in the day. So George Lucas made the movie American Graffiti after all people like Bart and Gene, and unfortunately he didn't shoot it there, he shot it in Petaluma, but it was all based on Modesto. And so every year, in fact, I'm part of that group still, even though I moved to Arizona now permanently from California. I am part of the Kiwanis group that puts on the American Graffiti car show. And they do a really phenomenal parade on Friday night, and then Saturday and Sunday they have a 2-day car show. And but they are building the American Graffiti Museum, and I want to say it's like 50,000 square feet building that they're still renovating at the moment, and they're having things there right now, but it's not open to the public at the moment. But so when I was, after Bart passed and before I moved to Arizona, I was going through many of the stuff. Bart said he didn't throw one thing away. So many memories there and so many cool things related to the old cars. And so most of the stuff I've donated to the American Graffiti Museum so that his name and the cars, the old cars and whatnot, and will live on. I would encourage any of you watching this to, when it's open full-time to the public, to go visit. It's going to have a diner in there. It's going to have a room just dedicated to Gene Winfield and his stuff. My favorite thing about the Merc, I just love, it sits very low, as you'll see on the video, but I just love just driving it. It just, you get the waves, of course, and stuff from people going by, and many people can't believe a female is driving it, number one. In fact, today when we were doing the video, this one guy was asking what's under the hood, but he wasn't looking at me, he was looking at Tom because he didn't think it was my car, and which is fine, I don't care. And so I told him 350 Chevy under the hood, and and it's just fun driving it as a female because there's not a lot of gals that are really into the car scene, and I've had offers for people to buy it. They really wanted to buy it and offered me good money, and I'm like, no, this car is in memory of Bart, and it will, as long as I'm alive, I'm going to keep it. And it's just really in remembrance of him. And I just like the cool how it sits low. It's chopped. It's definitely lowered and got the fender skirts on it. It's got the spotlights, and I just love the way it drives, and it just goes cool. Sometimes I put my lowrider song on from Roar and kind of just goes slow down the street and just crank up the music. So it's just a fun car to drive and cruise. I will just keep driving it as long as I can. Like I said, it's pretty much not an everyday driver, but a couple times a week I like to get it out there and just start it up, and gonna do a few things to, just to make it a little bit better, like the headlights, want them a little brighter and a few things like that. But other than that, I'm gonna keep that car the way it looks, and I have no plans on changing anything about the looks of the car at all.
Thanks, Lisa, for spending so much time with us. We truly enjoyed meeting you and hearing the stories of your husband's experiences in the custom car world during the classic post-war era. Seeing his memorabilia collection was nothing short of awesome.